Hey, it's Dave from Chaos Guitars. So I want to take a couple minutes to talk to you about something I see a lot at the bench. Upgrades, modifications, when not to do them, right? Now, I know it sounds kind of silly because I'm kind of telling you don't do something that you're going to bring your guitar to me for and I'm going to make some money off of. But realistically, a guitar is, in any instrument, is a piece of machinery, basically. Think of it that way, because it's a balanced piece of equipment, right? It's mechanical. Everything has a purpose. The bridge doesn't work without the tuners, without the tension of the neck, without everything works together, right? So if you don't have everything where it should be to begin with, everything you do after this, whether it's modifications or upgrades or amps or pedals or anything else, is compensating for this not being right. This is why we started the learning path on our website, because I wanted to educate people about the guitar and how it works. That's how all this started. Because if this isn't working right to begin with, if this isn't balanced the way it should be to begin with, if this doesn't play the way it should be to begin with, then everything you do from here on out is to compensate for what this isn't doing. And that's important to remember, because you'll get caught up in the signature sound, the mod culture, and I'll explain all that stuff to you, but you'll get caught up in all that and you'll end up spending a fortune on stuff that you probably don't need. So the mod culture, as I call it, is every time you go online or every time if you're a guitar guy, I can't say like me, because I try not to spend a lot of time online, and I don't follow any of these influencers or guitar gurus or anything other than Spectre Sound, because I love Flip Fricker. Glenn's is friggin' hysterical, but I don't follow a lot of that stuff. So, but I do see that. I know, like, every time I'm trying to post something for our site, there's somebody jamming something down my throat. Buy this. This is the next best thing, right? I know, because clients come in here and they say, well, I want, here's so-and-so's pickups. Here's Billy Joe's pickups. And I want them in my guitar because it's going to give me his tone. Well, it's not going to give you his tone, because it's just not. It's going to give you his sound. And there's a big difference between his tone and his sound. So I hate seeing people get caught up in that, where they're spending tons and tons of money. And I know before I even do it, it's probably not going to give them what they want. Especially since then I say, well, while we have the guitar, why don't we set it up? Oh, yeah, I don't know. That's another $70, right? But if you spend that $70 before we do any of the mods, you may not have to do any of the mods. You may not have to do the upgrade, because let's start with the balanced instrument. So that's the whole mod culture thing. The whole signature sound thing is, Billy Bob's pickups and Billy Bob's amp and Billy Bob's guitar, whatever your favorite artist is. You got to have that kind of stuff. I try to tell people, try not to get caught up in that. I know you have your favorite guitar guy and you want his equipment, but that's not going to make you sound like him. It's not going to make you play like him. It's not going to make you play any better. The only thing that's going to make you play better is practice. So that being said, there are some cool things that I see in mods, and I would like to share with you, because it prompted me to do something with our website that I think is kind of cool. So I see different versions of mods come through here, and I see waves of them. Right now it's the 50 wiring mod. Everybody wants 50s wiring, right? And if you don't know what that is, I'm not going to tell you, because we have it right here. What I started doing is, as these waves of certain mods come through, I would write down little notes at my bench as I'm doing them. So I'd be able to explain to the next guy that comes in, hey, this is what this mod is. This is what it does. This is why it does it. This is what it's going to sound like. If we tweak this here or tweak this, we could give it a little bit more of your sound for the style of music you're playing or whatever. And that kind of became my thing over the years, and I would continue to do that and keep notes on things. And then when we started this Chaos Guitars learning path, I thought to myself, well, this is a really good opportunity to put this in an official format, like we're doing with the guides and everything, and offer it up to everybody. So all the information is in one place. So I did that with the 50s wiring trend. And it's just kind of, we called it the wiring trend revealed. And it basically tells you what it is. And it compares it to the modern version. Like, so the treble bleed is kind of the modern version of it, right? So I compare the two and I give you the pluses and minuses, you know, and it just gives you a good idea of what you would want to do. If you'd want to do the 50s version of it, or if you want to do the more modern version of it. One's more of the electronic version of it, and the 50s is more of the mechanical version of it. But they both are pretty much giving you the same end result for the most part. But it's just a really good document that's got really good information on it. So that'll be on the website. I'll put that up when I post this video, and you'll have access to it. You'll get a free download, and just download it and hang on to it. It's just good information to have. So that kind of prompted us to do that. And I'll do that as mods come across the bench for different things. As I see waves of different things, we'll throw another one up. And if there's something that goes along with a guide that we're doing at this time, then, you know, I'll throw the extras up there for you guys to have. So that's pretty much it. I mean, you're going to hear me hammer back time and time again, professional setup by a luthier. You got a better chance of getting that at your small mom and pop shops, because if they don't have a luthier there, then they're dealing with one probably outside of it. Whereas the bigger stores tend to send them out, or they have a guy there that says he's a luthier. Sometimes he is, sometimes he's not. But my advice is find your good local luthier. Start talking to some of your guitar player friends. Start going to see local bands and start talking to their guitarists and stuff. And, you know, don't be fooled by oh yeah, I can do that for you. No, you need somebody who is doing this for a living, or that has been doing this their entire life, because there's a lot to it. I'm finishing up as we speak what I call our workhorse setup. I have been doing what I call the workhorse setup for years, and it's just a good balanced setup that is very dependable and very reliable, and that's why I call it the workhorse setup. It's on all my guitars. It's my standard setup. And I thought, well, this is a good bench reference to have at my bench for pointing things out to guests or to clients when they come in and they say, well, you know, what are you going to set this at? Well, right here, and this is why. And then I thought, well, let's offer this to people. So we're going to offer that to people as well on our website. But just to give you an idea, that ended up coming in at like 40 something pages, I think. Now there's in between pages and title pages and whatnot, but even if it's a good 20 pages of packed information, that's 20 pages of what you need to do to get this set up right. That's not just looking at it and going, yeah, I'm going to tweak that bridge, and then I'm going to twist the truss rod a 1/4 inch, and then you'll be good to go. That's not a setup. So get it set up professionally. Whether you have it done by me or have it done by somebody else, doesn't matter. Get it done by a good luthier. So that's what I'm going to keep hammering home to you. If you decide you definitely want to set a upgrade, or you definitely want a modification, just ask yourself, what's the guitar trying to tell me? Because it'll always tell you when something's not right. It'll always tell you. You'll know. Guitar players feel a lot of things. So you'll always know. What's it trying to tell me? What sounds different? What feels different? And whatever this modification I'm going to do, will it solve that problem? And make sure it's going to solve that problem. Even if you email us and ask me. I'll do the best I can to answer it on email without seeing the guitar. But, you know, you want to get some kind of insight, because everything you do to this guitar that wasn't spec'd for and wasn't meant for, there's going to be a trade-off. So if you're going to throw Hetfield pickups in it, or you're going to throw hotter pickups in it, well, there's going to be a trade-off, because now you have hotter pickups in it. So now you're going to be looking at maybe more feedback or more noise, or there's always that trade-off. So think about it. Ask yourself, what's the problem I'm trying to solve, and will this solve it, before you get your mind set on anything. That's all. Understanding comes first. That's why we're doing all this. So get to our website, check out the learning path, because there's a really ton of good information on there, and a good amount of it, majority of it at this point, is free. And I'm hoping to keep a good amount of it free. We're going to put some paid stuff on there. There's some paid stuff on there now, and there's going to be like the bigger guides and stuff will be a little more expensive just so we have money to keep this thing running. But realistically, I'm going to try to pack it with as much free stuff as I can for you guys because I just want people to learn and understand, because ultimately my end goal here, I'll be honest with you, is this makes my job easier. When you come into me and say, hey, here's my pickups I want them in here because I want this, I now have to sit down with you and try to carefully explain why that's not going to work without hurting anybody's feelings. I don't like doing that. So hopefully this whole education thing is going to do away with all that. So remember, understanding comes first. Thanks.